current people. If I understand, you guys are ex-honey badgers.
Oh, hey, well, no, not really. What I keep saying, and of course the honey badgers don't want to hear this. I'll show you. I'll show you this. You will have first heard about the Honey Badger Brigade in this movie, The Red Pill, a Cassie J documentary. Which, by the way, I'm in under the name Dean Esmay. By the way, my friends really do call me Max, but I'm not going to get mad at you if you insist on calling me Dean. But I think of it as my
nickname. Dean Esmay?
Yeah, I'm Dean Esmay.
Oh shit! You're the one who had like the beef with Medicare, right?
I don't have that much beef with him if he just talked to me. Literally, I really don't.
I'm sending him the link.
Huh?
I'm sending him the link then.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I mean, we can talk about Medicare, or we can talk about Badgers.
Yeah, all right. Sounds no. We can talk about everything. This is a reunion show.
Okay.
Special.
Well, that's fine. Well, I mean, if we're going to talk about Medicare, we might as well get it out. And here's all I really want to say about Medicare. I was never that mad at him, and I'm still not. I can do Jerry Springer, and I can do all hard, or we can be more like I'm being now, or whatever. I genuinely think ultimately is a misunderstanding. I think anything that, people told me that may have happened 2 years ago, I don't need to, you know what? If you tell me it didn't happen that way, Jimmy, I won't contradict you. I'm not looking for a fight unless you just want one. I wish you'd just learn who I really am. We both changed in 2 years, and I do still get shit from your fans for no good reason. I think it was a misunderstanding. I'd love to talk to you about it, or we can fight because I like Kumite, actually, and I like that shit.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, I hate it when somebody goes in there like not expecting a fight, knowing that it's I mean, that beatdown that Teeman got, he was too nice to her as far as I'm concerned, but it's okay. It was delicious watching him carve her up. It really was. Because I'll turn to the honey badgers now, unless because like I said,
I just want to point out, because Dean has been introducing the honey badgers as some people you might have learned from in the Red Pill. Just want to point out, personally, I knew about the honey badgers before the Red Pill. The honey badgers is a podcast of people who are typically sympathetic to men's right activism. So of course they were featured in the Red Pill, I guess.
Yes, they were featured in the Red Pill. As was I. You will find me in there prominently. I was the managing editor of A Voice for Men at that time, where I co-created the fucking Honey Badger Brigade. Now, the people calling themselves the Honey Badger Brigade today essentially are not the Honey Badger Brigade that was in that movie, but they have been basically fame whoring and taking credit for it and acting like they are the men's human rights activists and the voices of men's human rights activism, when in point of fact, none of them was even original honey badgers. And they don't like this, and they don't like me. They don't like hearing it, but I'm a firsthand witness, and I got plenty of other witnesses and other documentation for anybody who doubts me. When we were doing A Voice for Men, we were much more centrist, much less globalist, and much more diverse in the opinions we allowed. We had left-wingers, we had right-wingers, we had libertarians, we had religious people, we had non-religious people. We made sure to bring in a whole diversity of stuff. I mean, stuff from hardcore market guys to actual Marxists. So, it was always a diverse place, and we had religious and non-religious people. And this is, by the way, Queen of Bands is being viciously attacked by Karen Strawn right now.
Yeah. And I want to talk about that too, because
she's not involved in this at all.
Dean, sorry, just real fast. We're going to be talking about not only Queen of Bands, who I've already talked to, being viciously attacked by Karen, as well as some of the other badgers, but apparently, me, fucking super villain Warski, I have a plan to destroy the honey badgers, apparently. And not only that, Internet Blood Sports has potentially made people commit suicide. So we're going to be talking about all of that. So Eric, go ahead.
Oh my God.
I want to hear about all this. However, I will say for the introduction of Dean, I'm missing something here, because there was an organizational replacement at Honey Badgers, okay?
Yeah.
But was there anything illegal in that process? I mean, an organization can change its political preferences over time. The people forming it can change. What is wrong in what you've stated up to now?
Oh, absolutely. I agree. First, I even remember when they incorporated and they were talking about it. I mentioned thinking it was a good idea that they do so. I don't claim ownership of the Honey Badger Brigade that exists in 2018, and I wouldn't bother. The Honey Badger Brigade of 2014, however, and 2013, which is what you see in Red Pill movie, was a very different group of people with a different agenda. And what's been happening with this new corporatized, much more ideological Honey Badger Brigade that Alice and Tiemann changed after the movie is that they have been basically sucking up all the publicity. And I don't mean just publicity for me, because the truth of the matter is, believe me or not, I never actually even wanted to be a YouTuber and didn't like that much publicity, although I expected some more recognition than I got. But I got multiple people on my team and multiple friends and multiple others who were big in making the Honey Badger Brigade successful and in shaping what they were when they were in that movie. And they're not those people anymore. I mean, those three of the women were in the movie, and only three. You'll notice a number of them are missing. And and the women who are missing all got done dirty by Allison Tiemann and her thugs, including some of her thug friends that are still bugging me today.
And just real fast, I'm gonna be adding a lot of more moderators to our show. Apparently, the naughty words, even on live chat, are being filtered, and they have to be approved now. This is starting today. You have to approve words. I've been trying to approve the ones that aren't too bad. So people who are chatting regularly, I'll be adding you as moderator. So wait, you're saying that Karen and gang. So is Allison as well?
Yeah, I'm telling you that Allison Tiemann especially is the ringleader here.
Really?
The more controlled ones are Karen and Hannah. All women I know well, and all women anxious to suggest I never knew well, and that's pretty funny. I tell you, I can tell you a lot about these ladies.
Yes,
they have changed. By the way, they have changed, and they've also tried to change their public persona and who they are. But I mean, especially when I knew Karen, like, even though she was all atheistic and stuff, and she had a real sense. She seemed to have a real sense of honor and integrity. She used to have a blog she called "Owning Your Shit," and how if you've been a bad person, you should admit it and own it and then do something to make it better. I liked her whole attitude. She used to show me that she had integrity. I have watched over the years as she's deteriorated into a shell of her former self, and something really nasty and money hungry and control hungry, and fame hungry and wine hungry. And although I actually think the one with the most control in the group is definitely Allison, because she's the sober one, and she's surrounded herself with drunks.
Sober? What do you mean? Okay, so everyone else, you're allegedly saying that everyone else in the team is just a bunch of drunks?
No, but I don't know everybody on the team, but I can tell you that Allison and Mike are both raging drunks, and plenty of people who've been there will tell you so. And I can tell you straight up, I don't care anymore who hears it, because really, they've been talking so much shit about me. One of the reasons you don't see more of Karen Strawn in the Red Pill movie is because she was so fucking drunk at the International Conference on Men's Issues 2014. It would have been unethical for Cassie to use the footage. And this woman is sloshed pretty regularly wherever she goes in public. And she does tend to really piss people off when she shows up at these men's conferences sometimes. There's not a lot of people left in men's rights land who actually think that much of her, except, people who are new to her the last couple of years. Almost nobody who was big and around back then gives a shit about her anymore. She's used up a ton of her friends. And by the way, she's been bad-mouthing me a couple of years now. For the longest time, I got cucked by the bitch. I admit it. I got cucked by the bitch. I still thought,
at least you admit it.
She was giving me a line, and then I start talking to other guys who got fed lines by her too. Allison's real good at being two-faced that way too. There's a ton of men's rights activists who hate these bitches. Okay, a ton of us going back to 2014, 2015, and they like to pretend we don't fucking exist, and they also like to pretend it's all about me and that I've gone insane. Give me some proof that I'm insane just because I'm a shit poster on the internet, or because I'm religious. I'm sorry, that doesn't make you insane, at least not in my book. No. There's like literally these people have forfeited the right to call themselves men's human rights activists, yet they pretend they are the men's human rights activists on the internet. They go out of their way to erase people from the past. They go out of their way to erase other individuals and other groups, including people in Canada. They could be doing so much in Canada alone to promote groups all over Canada that I know of that are doing father's rights stuff, that are doing parental rights stuff, that are doing domestic rights stuff. And these bitches just want more money so they can make more radio shows for you. Have you also noticed there's no actual nerds on these bitches, among these bitches? I'll tell you why. Because Allison Tiemann got the idea of doing a show on nerd culture from me. Not only was I the first one to call her a honey badger. She didn't even like being called a honey badger at first. That was our nickname for female MRAs in 2014, and I was the one who gave it to her. We did a show together on nerd culture called Tales from the Infrared, which she morphed into a nerd show that she decided was going to be Honey Badger Radio. But you'll notice she was never a nerd. So she got all this Gamergate fame. She's hardly plugged into comic book culture at all. She's mostly into porn comics and not very good ones. Well, one or two of them are good. But she's as fake as a nerd. All three of them are, yet they're still bilking Gamergate fame. All the actual nerds like me were shut out quite some time ago in their organization. I don't know, maybe they got some new ones now, but they have just rolled over all kinds of people in the pursuit of fame and control of the men's rights narrative. And it's not legitimately theirs. There's a lot of people who really want words with them. And it isn't just me. And one of the things that they're most desperate to do is to make it all about me. That way nobody hears what I just said, which is we got a shit ton of people mad at you, ladies. There's more than one. So and he ain't acknowledging any of them. And that's a problem. All right, so now that's my rant. Any questions?
Yeah, well, okay. I want to ask you a few questions and sort of go over some of the super chats. People have been talking about the honey badgers because from what happened a few weeks ago with you and the Medicare drama, what you're saying to us is that sort of Karen, Allison, all them were sort of trying to shift people's viewpoints to you and other people to sort of get the limelight off of them because of possible exposure, of being exposed.
Well, no, I'm going to admit something outright. You'll notice, for example, I went out of my way to get Jimmy's attention and to tweak him. Although you'll notice I wasn't that, I mean, come on. I was bringing Jerry Springer. I wasn't really trolling him that hard. Plus, other members of the team do like trolling him sometimes. But whatever. It's just the internet, man. It's just shit posting. I'm sorry. So I did try to get his attention because I've sat for 2 years while these people have mismanaged. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the Honey Badgers have made more money off of Red Pill movie than Cassie J has. And that girl's really gotten fucked by them, too. Not that she would say that publicly, but I mean, she has. And anyway, the Medicare thing, it's clear the Honey Badgers went after Jim because they thought if they stirred up some drama, they would be able to boost their flagging troops who are demoralized and help them bring in more money.
So now, where do I come in? Because I was watching Medicare's video before hopping on the plane yesterday, right? I'm like, oh, Medicare's talking about the Badgers. And then there's this clip of Karen saying that I'm working with someone behind the scenes, which I don't know. I've never talked about honey badgers behind the scenes, that I am currently working behind the scenes and I have insider information that will destroy them or something. And then
you didn't get the envelope full of money that I mailed you?
No, I mean that'd be nice. I started like sifting through my emails, like, did I miss something? Like, and then now not only am I involved in this, and I didn't know my name would be like used at all in that video. So I was like, what? And I was like drunk and stuff. I was in LA, I had a few beers, and I was just like, I'm trying to relax on my last night, and now I'm part of this insider information to destroy the honey badgers. And then that JF and I and Tonka are responsible for people who want to commit suicide. Like, so where do I fit in all this right now?
All right, I think I could actually. Okay, listen.
And then
When
we
I'm
should
doing
introduce the
men's
other
rights, I
guests.
have
Yeah,
one
right,
hat
you're
on.
right.
When I'm doing men's rights, I have one hat on. When I'm shit posting, I got another. Okay, I'll put on my men's rights hat for a minute and give what might almost be saying. If you get somebody on Kumite, but you don't tell them up front, look, man, this is Kumite. This is not genteel debate. We're gonna throw down here. If you don't tell them that, then someone can get kind of traumatized from it. Although still, they kind of had it coming, not listening. So I mean, you might kind of say something like that if you trap someone on there like that, and then they get a beat down and they're all crying and they didn't know what was going to happen to them. I guess that would, maybe do something to somebody. So maybe don't do that. But I don't think you do that on Kumite. So I don't know where they're coming from ultimately.
So
Do you
Andy,
think?
I have a couple of super chats, and then I
Yeah,
have
I
something.
wanted to read them in order. Is that cool? Like the bigger ones? Is that
Okay.
fine?
Yeah,
Here,
you go for it.
well, I think, and my theory right now, and then we'll introduce everyone else, and we'll start mixing up the conversation and expanding on this. But my theory is because there's a big target on my back right now, and on JF's back right now, and Tonka. It's just easier to keep blaming everything on us because it's just we're big targets, and people who hate us will retweet or spread anything because it's just easy.
That's the internet these days, dude. It happens to everybody that way now.
Yeah, well, I spoke to a few people who were DMing me, and they're like, "Dude, that doesn't happen every week to you. It's gonna happen all the time, bro." Yeah, let's do this right now. Loan $10. Friendly reminder: Dean had an asthma attack to avoid Jim on their last conversation. Andy, I love you. Jeff, I'm not still sure how I feel about you, but let's get these heads rolling. Stone Monkey Productions, $10. This is for JF's
Wait
cat.
a minute. Can I answer them one at a time?
Sure,
So
but
let's read a bunch, and then,
Okay.
yeah, I want to pound through a bunch of these. All right, man. Amaranth 48, $10. Autistic accountant here. Can I be the secretary of treasury of the Trapno state? Yes, you can. Welcome. Red Feather, $2. Mod me, Andy. I'm always here. And you are mudded. Hey, man, nice shot. $10. Sweetie versus Asthma Islam. Make it so. I invited Sweetie Boy in here, which is Jim. So we'll see if he hops in. Ray Edwards, $2. Made the big cat a wrench. Yes, you can, because I've seen you in here. Producer Chris, $10. Dankula is innocent, but I still can't stand him. I loved the red pill. Men have it worse in most problem areas of society. That doesn't sell to a female audience and demographic. Fems, go to Iraq. Almost done here. Pinikul Chan, $10. Allison, Karen, and Hannah, as proof by their current examples, can't take the heat, and they attempted to character assassinate anyone to avoid the criticism. Sirens to bleed their supporters. Gabriel Lopez, what's up, man? $20. Having to click these show buttons in the censored chat is making me learn how to fap with my left hand. Thank you for that. Lurks and follow, $10. When you're a woman who goes against feminism, you get expelled from the other women of the group. Of course, we drink every day as a female is an embarrassment. Even pro MRA women suck. And I'll read more in a bit. But and Queen of Bands, real quick, wrote $2. And Andy, they are talking about me because I asked questions. All right.
Don't do that, Queen.
Andy, yesterday I was on the Drunken Peasants. You know what I said?
What?
I said Hitler had good intentions. I just wanted to tell you that. That was freaking funny.
Oh my god. Okay, so now you're trying to bait fucking Jared
I said that he
Taylor?
had a good conception of the German woman. Now I want to say to Dean, because Dean has been talking about bitches, and I'm glad that he accepts the Jerry Springer culture, because I was about to drop some shit on him, and I didn't know if it was polite to do so. If he accepts the Jerry Springer culture, I feel less ashamed of doing it. Dean, you sound like a bitch yourself. You came here and all you have is that there's people drunk out there. Now, I would side with you on MRA stuff. I mean, I'm totally for men's right. And it seems that the Honey Badgers and Karen Strongen, for some reason, they have a conspiracy theory against me and Andy. I was not aware of this.
They're
So I
good
would
at
be
those.
sympathetic against them. But what did they do wrong in this? They got popular and you don't like it?
No, give me a break. You know what? There's different. First off, there's a difference. You know, hey, I used to have a bad drinking problem, but I still, I actually do drink socially now. And if you wanted to do a drunk stream sometime, I would. But there is, if you've ever had to live with an alcoholic or seen the way the behavior goes when someone's really destroying themselves that way, and had to make excuses for your drunk friends all the time and had to explain away their bizarre behavior at professional events where you're supposed to be representing other people. And I mean, I'm not talking about going on a stream and getting drunk a little bit with some friends. I'm talking about a real issue. And frankly, as a recovered alcoholic, I do still drink socially, but I used to have a bad problem. I can sympathize, but at the same time, we all know there's a point where you've gone over the bend and where you've lost any sense of reality and you've become nothing but a raging narcissist, and people have to clean up your messes behind you and you make constant excuses for everything. I don't want to sound like an angry ranting dad. I'm talking as a former AA member, okay? We all know there's a point where you've gone beyond with whatever your drinking issue is or your drug issue is. Dude, I've buried friends, and I've had, and as a men's rights activist, I've had to console parents of sons that either killed themselves or did something like drank or drugged themselves to death. And so, I mean, when you're doing men's rights, again, when you're doing men's rights, like, dude, I'm not, what are you're just doing a talk show. You don't have any great obligation here. I mean, a little, but you don't have a great obligation, neither one of you. When you're doing men's rights and you're representing men's rights, and you know who shows up looking for help with men's rights? Guys who've recently lost their families, guys who've recently lost everything, guys who are under arrest on false charges. They're vulnerable. They need help. And, you know, a guy like Jim no kidding aside, I mean, when you're actually dealing with somebody real whose life is falling apart, which is what you're often dealing with as a men's rights activist, you do actually have to show more sensitivity. You do actually have to show more kindness. And you do have to show more professionalism in how you treat people and how you present yourself. And I don't care that these people got famous. They're all talented, although I think they've all damaged their own talents. But whatever. They still act like all the men's rights are us. And all the men's rights are not theirs. And they've marginalized. And instead of using their role, I mean, if they were using their role, but I was seeing every time they're on the air, or at least several times a week, hey, there's a men's group in Calgary doing something. Hey, you know what? There's a Christian group that's opened up a men's shelter over here in Saskatoon, and I want you all to know about it. Just anything like that. You know, promoting other men's rights groups. Like R.K. Hendrick has a great Facebook group dedicated to men's human rights. He's got a great group called Protection for Men. I have contact with fathers' rights group, parenting groups, domestic violence groups. These people are nowhere on the radar talking to anybody real who's doing anything. And they're just saying, give us more money. And they've even said in their last fundraiser that made me puke, that they're the only option for men who need help. That they, meaning that they're the men's human rights activists, there's no one else. They are the only choice. And it's horseshit. And I'm not the only one to bring it up. So they, you know, whatever they do on their personal time, fine. But when you're out there representing people, it's a different thing. And by the way, this is also why you have to represent more than just the atheist, skeptic, rationalist community when you're talking about these issues. That's the other thing. I mean, well, I'll just add this because someone might ask, should I be in charge of men's human rights right now? No. You know why? I slag off on atheists too much and they won't appreciate me. But I can recommend people who could get along both with the religious and the non-religious, because if you're going to do men's rights, you have to get along with both the religious and the non-religious. It's a no-brainer. And that's something they can't do. They won't do it. So there you go, is the bottom line of what's wrong with them on men's human rights. None of this is on you guys. None of this is on Jimmy Medicare. You're not claiming to be the men's human rights guys. I mean, maybe you're a little supportive and maybe you appreciate some of the issues and all that, but you're not presenting yourself as we're the men's rights activists. Sorry.
Yeah, I understand. Essentially, you're making an appeal to kind of a responsibility, a duty in the movement to be diversified. I will take this appeal, but I don't see anything wrong that was committed. And when you quote them saying we are the men's rights activists, well, this is publicity. When you're in media, you have to publicize. When I say Papa JF is the best thing on the internet, I'm not really depriving other creators of traffic. I'm just kidding, and it's just my way to present myself. And sometimes it makes the cause advance. So personally, I wouldn't take issue with. It seems that you're expecting from the honey badgers to be community workers, when in
Yeah.
fact they are just media people who are working on a different axis of MRA, which is public representation through a radio show or podcast.
Well, they are doing a very poor job representing men's human rights activists, and they need to stop that. They need to either stop pretending they are the men's human rights activists. They should even stop pretending they're the honey badgers from that movie, because they're not all the honey badgers from that movie. And they screwed over some of the other original honey badgers.
Do you think that they're doing anything good for MRA stuff, or for
I
men's
cannot
rights?
see it. I cannot see it. It looks to me, from where I stand, and I made public as well, private as well as public overtures on this quite a long time, you know, at varying levels of starting it very polite and then getting less polite over time, right? No, I think that they bring young men in there and they immediately, and these are men who may sometimes be suicidal coming in the door, and they're not feeding them good information. And they're not getting them to those local support groups they should be finding. They're not getting them to any of that. They're just saying, give us more money, we're your only hope. That's what I see. That's what I perceive. And I'm not the only one who perceives it.